Today I wanted to share something kind of crazy with you. Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, the universe just seems to be working against you? Well, let me tell you. I recently learned that there may be a supernatural explanation for why some people's dreams never seem to come true. I'm sure a lot of you out there feel stuck, like you're putting in all the effort but things never move forward. Deep down you know you're capable of so much more, yet it feels like some invisible barrier is blocking your success. Trust me, I've been there. For the longest time, I just thought it was bad luck or that I wasn't good enough. But something happened recently that totally changed my perspective. A friend sat me down and asked me some questions about how I've been feeling. When I described feeling heavy, tired, and like nothing was going my way despite my hard work, the look on their face told me they may have figured out what was draining my energy. They explained that in some cultures, there's a belief that certain malevolent people have the ability to curse others through witchcraft. Now, I know what you're thinking. Witchcraft? Really? I was super skeptical too. But then they listed off 5 symptoms that made me realize maybe there could be something more at play here. So the first sign my friend told me to watch out for is feeling overly tired all the time, even after getting plenty of sleep. Now, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to feeling exhausted now and then. We all have busy lives and deal with stress. But this was a deeper, heavier type of tiredness. No matter how much I rested, it was like my energy was being actively drained. Even simple tasks would leave me wiped out for the rest of the day. And forget being productive. Some days even getting out of bed felt impossible. My friend explained that when someone does witchcraft on a person, one way it works is by siphoning that person's life force energy. So the victim ends up feeling constantly fatigued as their spiritual batteries are being continuously depleted. At first I dismissed it, thinking maybe I just needed more vitamins or something. But looking back, it didn't make sense how getting 9+ hours of sleep every night still had me dragging. And I started noticing a pattern. Anytime something good was about to happen in my life, that's when my exhaustion would peak. It was like clockwork. A big opportunity at work. Boom, suddenly I'd catch a nasty cold. A date with someone I liked. Bam, migraine from hell. You get the idea. Coincidences, right? That's what I thought at first too. But the more attention I paid to my energy levels correlated to life events, the more convinced I became that there had to be an external force sapping my vitality. And unfortunately, the fatigue never fully went away, no matter what natural solutions I tried. So that's why the constant lethargy was a major red flag for my friend. Let me know if any part of that resonates with your own experiences dealing with strange tiredness. The second sign to watch out for is feeling physical pains or heaviness in your body that doctors can't find a reason for. Now this one really struck a chord with me. For as long as I could remember, I'd get these weird aches and tingling sensations all over. Sometimes it felt like someone was poking me with pins from the inside. Other times it was a soreness deep in my muscles like I'd done an intense workout, even though I knew I hadn't been active at all. The doctors were stumped. All my tests always came back normal. They'd shrug it off as stress or growing pains. But stress doesn't explain that heavy, leaden feeling I'd get all over, like my entire body was weighed down. There were also times it hurt so badly, I couldn't get out of bed for days on end. My friend said when someone uses black magic on a target, one way it works energetically is by attaching itself to the aura and chakras. This foreign intrusion can block chi flow and cause all kinds of strange physical manifestations, like the symptoms I was experiencing. It all started making a disturbing amount of sense, especially because, like my fatigue, the pains would always flare up right before something important in my life. Interview for my dream job, joints ache, asking out a crush, stabbing cramps. You get the pattern here. Western medicine had no answers for the unrelenting somatic disturbances I was dealing with. But after hearing what my friend had to say, I finally started connecting the dots between these mysterious medical mysteries and the forces possibly working against me behind the scenes. The third sign to watch out for is mood swings and bouts of depression that seem to come out of nowhere. Now, we all have our ups and downs mentally. But what I was experiencing was something else entirely. My friend said these kinds of dark, heavy feelings are another classic side effect as the black magic works its way deeper into the psyche, and it definitely lined up with what I'd been facing. I'd go from feeling relatively normal to being hit by this dark cloud. It was impossible to stop the onslaught of negative thoughts and self-loathing. All motivation and optimism would completely drain from my body. Even small tasks felt insurmountable during these episodes. I just wanted to hide away from the world. A few times the despair became so severe, I had scary, intrusive thoughts that really scared me. The worst part was these mental health crashes always struck at the most inopportune moments, like right before a big deadline at work, or when I finally had plans to socialize after isolating. Almost like something didn't want me to find success or happiness. Doctors said it was clinical depression and prescribed meds that barely took the edge off. But now I realize it may have been spiritual oppression intentionally triggered to knock me down, based on what my friend taught me about how these dark energies operate. Next, the fourth sign is problems or delays with goals, plans, and opportunities that should be progressing smoothly, but keep facing unexpected obstacles. Now we all encounter challenges pursuing our dreams, but this felt different. No matter how carefully I planned things out, somehow they kept going off the rails in silly little ways, like missing a deadline by minutes, forgetting important papers at home, minor logistical errors. On their own, not a big deal. But time and time again, it moved beyond just normal bad luck. Major projects would completely fall apart days before completion. Amazing job offers abruptly get rescinded. Relationships suddenly sour out of nowhere. It was maddening how every initiative I started was doomed to fail in some small but impactful manner. All the little issues piling up prevented any forward momentum, like there was an unseen force actively working to derail anything that could better my life. My friend said when hexes are in place, spirits attached will manipulate situations to induce setbacks, delays, mix-ups, and general frustrations that cumulatively take a toxic toll on your progress. And that perfectly described the endless obstacles I ran into. Have you felt like the whole world is conspiring against your success lately? Like tiny inconveniences gang up to become major roadblocks. This could be a sign you're dealing with a similar unseen barrier putting kinks in your plans too. Stay tuned for how to stop it. The fifth and final warning sign is repeated illnesses, minor injuries, or accidents that don't really make logical sense. Now we all get sick or experience little mishaps sometimes. But when it becomes a pattern, it may not just be coincidence. Looking back, I suddenly remembered all the random health issues that kept coming up. Things like frequent colds and fluss, migraines, allergic reactions, twisted ankles, minor burns and cuts. Nothing life-threatening on its own, but cumulatively draining. And again, these mishaps tended to strike at pivotal moments, like right before a big test, date, or trip. It really messed with my plans. Maybe falling down the stairs once could be accidental, but what are the odds of stubbing your toe every single week? My friend said when witchcraft is at play, the demons can cause targeted illnesses and injuries through spiritual attacks on the aura and energy field. Their goal is wear down resistance through constant small harassments. It was so eye-opening to get this context, because things I'd always shrugged off as clumsiness or bad immunity were happening way too systematically. And just like the other symptoms, they'd never fully go away for long. After hearing me out about all the strange things I had been dealing with, my friend was convinced someone had done real witchcraft against me. As crazy as it seemed, their explanation fit all my experiences too perfectly to ignore. I was ready to try anything at that point to get some relief, so they showed me a simple ritual cleanse using common household items anyone can find. The premise was to energetically remove the spiritual attachments plaguing me and fill my aura back up with protective white light. All you need is some salt, a candle, basil leaves, and a mirror. Salt is a powerful purifying agent against negative energies. Candle for focused intention setting and growth. Basil amplifies occult banishing properties. And the mirror allows you to visualize the hex being revoked. The first step is to place the candle, bowl of salt, and basil leaves around the mirror you'll use as a scrying tool. Then light the candle and stare into the mirror whilst saying aloud, "I revoke any and all spells done against me with malicious intent. I cut all cords attached to my spirit and aura by any dark powers. I fill myself now with bright healing light and Goddess's blessings of prosperity and good fortune." As you state this incantation with full faith, you gently rub some salt between your hands and visualize it cleansing you inside and out while shielding in holy light. After completing the ritual that night, I instantly felt an immense release of pressure I hadn't even realized was there. It was as if I could breathe fully for the first time in years. Within days, my health and mood greatly improved. Perhaps even more incredibly, all those little glitches stopping my progress just started vanishing. Opportunities I'd been missing out on suddenly materialized. Relationships that were strained healed overnight. Plans and projects I'd been struggling with for ages smoothly fell into place. It was startling just how much my environment transformed like the sun coming back out after a long shadow was lifted. For the first time in my memory, life started to flow with ease rather than an uphill slog. I finally knew deep down that I'd been cursed after all. If you've been experiencing strange symptoms like fatigue, pain, depression, or repeated setbacks in your plans, I hope sharing my story helps you consider whether some spiritual obstruction may be at play too. Our lives are so much more than the physical realm. I encourage you to try this cleansing ritual yourself. It's a simple way to invoke inner transformation and up-level your energy. Worst case scenario, you feel refreshed. But who knows, it could end up being life-changing like it was for me.